Hey guys, welcome back to Anime Bar. My name's Sterling, and as always, I'll be your bartender. And boy, am I hyped after that episode of Bleach. Episode 7 of the 1,000-Year Blood War did not disappoint whatsoever. Here at Anime Bar, we don't do your typical scene-by-scene review. If you're looking for something like that, you can find that elsewhere. In this video, we break down stuff you guys may have missed, our favorite things about the episode, and implications of said scenes in the episode. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and stick around, smash that like button, and be ready to be entertained. Because like I said, this episode did not disappoint, and I know I said last week's was my favorite, but this one is now my favorite. So guys, let's go ahead and get right into this. When Kubo released the art for the original Gote 13 from 1,000 years ago, I would have never dreamed that in this next episode, we were going to get to see these guys animated. I mean, finally, I've had dreams about these guys, I kid you not, and now we finally get to see them animated. The implications for that are insane. We get to see all of these guys, all their Zanpakuto, and just how brutal and strong that they actually are. Like, they're driving home the fact that this version of the Gote, is by far the strongest the Serete has ever had. And this just gives me even more faith that we're going to be seeing these guys later down the road in newer chapters of Bleach as possibly the next villains, because all of these guys are in hell. Now, that's a side tangent. I already made a video about that, but just the fact that we're seeing these guys to start this episode just makes me feel so much better about that prediction, and I could not be happier because I want to see more of these guys. They are incredible. This episode blew my expectations out of the water. Being a manga reader, I know how this is going to go, but we were treated to so much new stuff that it blew my mind, guys. And the fact that we're getting all this incredible new content from the anime is amazing news for everything going forward, because they're expanding on things that we wanted expanded. They're clearly listening to some of us because, like, guys, we're getting what we want out of this anime, what we didn't get out of the manga. So yeah, going forward, this isn't just incredible news for the anime, but it's incredible news for Bleach in general. Like, these guys will probably be in a new Bleach chapter at some point in the future. If I was a betting man, I would bet everything on it. They're perfect. And the fact that they're being so heavily, like, displayed in this episode means I'm probably right about that. And I could not be happier. And it wasn't just this beginning, guys. I would say this episode had the most new scenes out of any episode so far. Speaking of new scenes, we're treated to this. Yuha phones into all the Quincy Sternritters and goes, hey, it's time to completely finish this up and run amok throughout the Serete. Like, not that they already hadn't, but more or less they're calling, like, foot soldiers to come in and take care of the other Soul Reapers, not captains, but the lower-ranking Soul Reapers that are still lingering in the Soul Society. So the Soldat comes through, and their entrance is epic. I don't think that was in the manga. And these guys come in, and they completely run shop on all these lower-level Soul Reapers. I think one of my favorite scenes in this whole episode, believe it or not, was this this sky view they give of the Serete. And it's completely destroyed, guys. Like, all the barracks are destroyed. I mean, there's some pretty brutal stuff when the Soldat's running through, cleaning everything up. And like I said, unless I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure this was all new stuff. And I'm 100% here for it. It was great. In my opinion, this new scene alone helps drive home the fact that this is a legit war. Like, I wanted to see foot soldier versus foot soldier. It was nice to see. Like, those guys were like, we can take them. And they were sadly mistaken. As you can tell, that Soldat just runs him through, the Soldat soldier. Another thing this scene does is just gives me more reassurance for how they're going to handle this anime going in the future. And they're handling it with care. You can tell that Taite was heavily involved in all this. The Japanese voice actor for Byakuya Kuchiki should win an award, guys. He did a stellar job, knocked it out of the park. I mean, you felt it. Like, you felt all his feelings. Like, he did not want to have to ask Ichigo for help, but like, he's begging him. He's at death's door, begging Ichigo. And they expand on this just a little bit with certain tidbits, and it makes it that much better, guys. I was not expecting it to be this good. There's a scene where Ichigo like goes up in the air and he's like scanning the Serete for like Renji and Rukia, like right before he goes to talk to Byakuya, and like that little extra scene is awesome. It goes like Ichigo's whole entrance was awesome actually, and it helped drive home the fact that like Ichigo's there and he's gonna save us, and like it helps build upon the next scene that I'm gonna talk about. But yeah, Ichigo's entrance, his conversation with Byakuya, that was all gold. Give those guys an award, because the dialogue and exchange between those two was absolutely incredible, off the chart. Bleach at its best, Bleach peak. Speaking of Bleach peak, this by far was my favorite part of the entire episode. The fight between Yuha and Ichigo. Like, I'm telling you guys, this wasn't really a fight at all in the manga. But in this episode, like, I thought Yama and fake Yuha was going to be my favorite fight thus far. But then next week, they top it with something even better. And guys, this thing was like a Dragon Ball Z fight. They were bouncing all over the place. Ichigo just erupts in power. I mean, it's really driving home the fact how strong Ichigo is, but even furthermore, how much stronger Yuha is than Ichigo. Because Ichigo kind of gets his booty handed to him. Like, there's a scene where Yuha just slams Ichigo down to the ground, grabs both his hands and slams him. There's actually, Yuha uses this technique where it's like he pretty much Chewbacca Tensei's Ichigo. Slaughtered that pronunciation, but you know what I mean. With these boulders, this Quincy technique, so you hit the arrow that's hitting you, and if there's any debris floating around you, it grabs it and sucks it into you. So like Ichigo was pretty much inside of a bunch of like rubble from the Serete that Yuha had turned into like a meteor. I thought that was really freaking cool. But yeah, these guys are bouncing around, but Ichigo ends up being really no match for Yuha. But they go into explaining the blue and how Ichigo is able to break out of Quilge's jail. And they do it so much better in the anime. Like, there's no confusion. You know that, like, without the blue protecting Ichigo, Yuha would have killed him multiple times. I mean, it stresses the fact that, like, Ichigo's heavily depending on that bloop vein, not realizing it, but like he would have been dead multiple times in this fight against Yuha. Because like I said, it was like of DBZ level proportions, and the only reason Ichigo survived is because Aizen tricked up Yuha when he was in the Mugen, like threw off his timing a little bit. But like, it was awesome. Like, look at this scene, Super Saiyan Ichigo. Like, but that's what it was like. It's my favorite fight in Bleach to date. And like, yeah, it was short, but it was animated great, and I absolutely loved it. Guys, what did you think of this fight? What did you think of this episode? I mean, this is kind of a raw reaction, more than it is a breakdown, but guys, I couldn't believe how much extra stuff we got. And that, like I said, is great, great, great news for us, because we know that this anime is being handled with the utmost care. And it's really paying off. Some of these Bleach fights could end up going down as like best animated fights of all time. Because like this is cutting edge. It looks great. They're telling an even better story than they did in the manga. Like I said, guys, this is great news. I absolutely love Bleach Mondays, and like it's kind of surreal that it's even a thing and that we're getting all this new stuff, like whether it be like the captains from 1,000 years ago, or the new fight with Ichigo, or the Zoldat running through the Serete. Like all that is amazing because we're gonna get that kind of love and care into each episode, and like the story we loved is just getting told better, and that is amazing news, and it's amazing to watch. I've probably said amazing 1,000 times, but like, guys, what do you think? What's been your favorite part of the anime so far, or your favorite part of this episode? I just want to talk Bleach. I'm excited. Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like this video so it gets more exposure and we can keep the discussion going with all the Bleach fans. Do you guys think the captains from 1,000 years ago could come back as villains in the new arc? Did you like the fight between Ichigo and Yuha? Comment, guys. I want to know. I want to talk Bleach. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. This is Sterling signing out.